Hey, Warcraft 3 and Brad Chan and everybody. Today's actually it's April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. So the Hive is super abuzz. There's a lot of stuff happening on Hive Workshop. You may have seen every year they always celebrate April Fool's Day with great stuff. There's a ton of really funny things going on over there. Same with Warcraft 3. Actually, Blizzard really likes their April Fool's Day jokes. So there's some great balance updates coming. This is really funny. Anyway, in all the hustle and bustle for April Fool's Day joke, because it's been so busy, obviously me as a Warcraft 3 modder, I've been busy too. So I wasn't really sure I was going to post this today because it's April Fool's Day. I thought some people might think I was joking, but what can you do? I figure I might as well go ahead and post anyway. So what I have in front of me here, I've come to realize, it's been a really long journey for me modding Warcraft 3. From 2002 when we bought the game, when I bought the CD, to 2020, we had 17 years of Warcraft 3, and then we've had 5 years of Reforged since then. And during those 5 years, I've had 5 years of something some people might know as War Smash. It's a project that I did where from 2019 to 2022, I was rewriting Warcraft 3 in Java, and then from 2022 to 2025, I was making internet memes joking about the thing being taken down, and then joking about not joking about it being taken down, about basically like a parody of myself, and calling it parody for legal reasons to say that it never happened. Anyway, so that's all silly, right? There was not ever a point that anyone, if you type in War Smash, actually, you guys, I don't know if you guys do this, but if you go on the internet and you type in War Smash, a lot of the LLMs will actually lie to you to your face. Like, let's try Google. Actually, Google's pretty smart. They probably figured it out. War Smash. Like, if I type in, like, what is War Smash, right? What is War Smash? War Smash, okay, see, this is a very clean summary from Google. But somebody like Bing, if you type in what is War Smash, they're going to give you like a chat GPT summary. I don't know, they fixed it, I guess. For quite a long time, several of these LLMs would just flatly lie to you and say that War Smash was given a cease and desist takedown by Blizzard Entertainment, which absolutely never happened. And I guess they don't do that anymore. What is War Smash? I don't know. Does ChatGPT do that? Yeah, no, that doesn't do that either. ChatGPT.com. So anyway, we're working on what is War Smash ? Okay. ChatGPT is a fan-made game. It's essentially a crossover of Super Smash Bros. And Warcraft 3. That's even more made up than I thought it would be. Anyway, don't worry about that. That's definitely not true. But okay, so the LLMs are all liars, but I'm not. So when everyone thought in 2022 that my project was taken down, it was not taken down, and I said that was the only thing I ever said, is that it was not taken down. But nobody really cares. Here you go, like the first link on one of these searches. Blizzard just killed War Smash. I am not in Mazia. In Mazia is probably a operative of. It's probably Brad Chan himself. He's a Nazi operative over here. Direct Antwort Urban. See, I don't even know what that is. How to fully disable audio focus. He's posting in OkCupid. He's posting in all his matches are gone on OkCupid. He's so sad. Who is this guy? I don't know. Warcraft 3? Dear negative people, you don't need to like it, but it's valid. Oh yeah. See, here he is. He's telling everyone there needs to be no justification. It's extremely valid to take down. Shut up. Okay. So anyway, the real cruelty is that Redra is the #1 supporter of Blizzard. Who's writing this stuff, right? I mean, it's absolute trolls. And meanwhile, they're in plain text accounting trying to troll your bank account. These are the absolute trolls, taking your money, taking everyone's hope and karma or something. I don't know. Anyway, so these people went on the internet and they posted this, and everyone says I posted it, but Did I? This looks like to me Inmacia posted this. This does not look like I posted this. He will win in court against ABK if they sue. How about that, guys? I like this guy. This is a real person. Oh, he deleted his account. That's how you know he's a real person. Okay, well, anyway, so that all happened in 2022, but, you know, that was, yeah, it's April Fool's Day, you know, okay, so it's April Fool's Day, so that happened in 2022, but since then, you know, I was mostly just, you know, I made some good YouTube videos with War Smash. I realized that rewriting Warcraft 3, it was taking too long, and it was difficult to be motivated. What is this shit ads they put here now? This stuff should be illegal. Anyway, I was gonna type in here that the Warcraft taking it away. You know what I mean? War Smash. So we gotta fight back, and obviously you guys know how I'm fighting back. War Smash. Wow. What does this come up with? How to play War Smash? Here you go. War Smash. Wow. And in the War Smash WoW videos, obviously, summary of the great work I'm doing, I showed how you can use Warcraft 3 map editor and you can make World of Warcraft in like 15 minutes. And that way, you don't have to play World of Warcraft anymore. We're taking down this company. I don't want to deal with them anymore, actually. We're getting pretty tired of them. But anyway, so that's how you make World of Warcraft in like 15 minutes in a Warcraft map. This is pretty good. I made like a jungle gym. But we're getting tired of these World of Warcraft people running the world. You just make your own World of Warcraft. So obviously at that point, you know, that's kind of a recap of, you know, by that point we're not really making. That's not very good for Warcraft 3 modding, right? It's just attention-seeking behavior. Remake World of Warcraft on your Warcraft 3 emulator. But why are we doing that? Why are we seeking attention? Well, that's because your attention-seeking behavior. That helps me realize the truth, right? You guys know the truth. It's April 1st, okay? We're celebrating the truth. And in celebration of the truth, I wanted to explain that, as you can see here, I was rewriting Warcraft 3 in Java, but then I realized I probably just wanted to play World of Warcraft. So since I probably just wanted to play World of Warcraft, somebody else should do it. Somebody else should write Warcraft 3 in Java. And no one's going to do it if they think that War Smash was taken down. So I had to do attention-seeking behavior, because it's all the WoW players anyway that think that War Smash was taken down, because they're the ones that Inmacia over here has to lie to, because he's a CIA operative or whatever. I don't know. Somebody's operative. Bobby Kodak's operative? I don't know. He's an operative. And his goal, his non-innocent goal here, is to get everyone to hate Activision, to see Activision's reputation as really negative and bad. I didn't know that at the time. I forgot Activision had a reputation. I thought that this company didn't do anything anymore because I was playing Reforged and they didn't do anything on Reforged anymore. So I kind of just thought their company was over. But apparently for like 100,000 World of Warcraft players or something, that wasn't the case. So they all watched a Bellular video made by Inmacia and Bellular about how my project got shut down, which has never happened. Anyway, so since then, you know, I've just been trying to get attention on the internet for all the stupid World of Warcraft players to tell them, look, I can rewrite your game in Java too. You know, that doesn't matter. That's easy to do. That's easy to do. I did it right here. And actually, one of these, I explained how I did it in 4 hours. It doesn't take very long. You think about it. If statement, if W forward, if S backward, if A left, if D right. It takes. ChatGPT could do that in 10 minutes. This is the future now. Back when I did that 3 years ago, 2 years ago, there wasn't as good of a ChatGPT. Actually, maybe there was, and I just didn't pay attention. So, speaking of ChatGPT, that brings us to today's announcement, actually. Realizing the power of the LLMs has brought me to this conclusion that, you know, what was really the point of War Smash? Why was I, like, from the moment, I have a chat log on Discord from Morality, the owner of Hive Workshop. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to rewrite Warcraft 3 in Java. And he was like, dude, you're going to get raped by lawyers. And this is not my words, this is his words. He was like, what are you going to do? You're going to get raped by lawyers. That was his advice, is like, that would be what would happen to you. That didn't happen, though. Because he was assuming, again, he's like the World of Warcraft players. He was assuming that Activision has some kind of reputation or something that they wanted to uphold, or that they cared about the Warcraft brand. They don't do that. We don't have to worry about that. But because we don't have to worry about that, they actually they hired some new people at Microsoft, who and they told them don't worry about stuff anymore. So people at Microsoft can do whatever they want, and so that's why this past winter break, people at Microsoft actually published the debug symbols of Warcraft 3, and I think more than ever, them dumping out essentially like the code of Warcraft 3, right? It kind of made me realize, like, why would you rewrite Warcraft 3 in Java if you could just open source the original one, and then that way, if you want to do something with it, like open sourcing World of Warcraft in 4 hours or something, right? That would be a great thing to do. I think you would increase, the world, the median world GDP or whatever would increase from all the people in foreign countries building their own worlds of Warcraft, and all of that could happen if we just open source Warcraft 3. So, because it was taking so long rewriting the game in Java, I mean, this obviously is like a stupid self-serving thing. Nobody wants to use Java. Like, it was a joke, I guess. So that's when you realize that what we all really wanted is just the actual original Warcraft 3 open source. And how do you get that? Well, Microsoft has created a great suite of LLM Copilot tools, and so you don't have to, if you want to do something, you don't have to do it anymore. You just ask Copilot to do it. So that's why I realized, I haven't been very public about this, but you can just ask Copilot to reverse the Warcraft debug symbols back to the actual source code of Warcraft 3. And, after a couple minutes, you got the source code of Warcraft 3. And then I was looking at that, and I was thinking about, if you've ever actually looked at the source code of Warcraft 3, I don't know if you guys did this, but it's totally different than War Smash, actually. It is actually, like, it's the one people like to play. People don't really play very much War Smash. They're not doing that. They're not playing what I made. They're playing the actual game. And, what that means is, like C agent pointer references getting passed around. Like, when you're going to shoot a projectile in Warcraft 3, most people, historically, they used locusted units, like from a Cryptlord, to shoot a projectile, a fireball. You'll know what I'm talking about if you're modding Warcraft 3 in the Age of Vexorian in 2005. But after they got tired of shooting fireballs, a guy who lived on an island off the coast of Madagascar bothered someone who, who somehow got hired by Blizzard Activision, probably by stealing assets from somebody else in China, but who knows. And then that guy who got hired by Blizzard actually coerced the programmers from World of Warcraft who were on loan to actually upgrade Warcraft 3 and hack the function for spawning spell effects so that you could set their X and Y coordinate. Now, of course, the World of Warcraft programmers actually put a typo in that function so that if you set the X, it sets the Y, and if you set the Y, it sets the X. But by working around that, this made it possible that instead of shooting a projectile inside of Warcraft 3 with a locusted Cryptlord unit, you could actually shoot a projectile using a spell effect with a moving X and Y. It's lighter on the computer to use a different dummy type like that. And then that has led us to the era today where now, using the debug symbols, you can actually just make a C++ struct called tinit bullet and a struct called tdamage to set how much damage it deals, and then you just create a bullet with the functions of the game. Suddenly, the game is open-ended. We no longer have to make locusts. We are no longer zombified by Anubarax magic as the only hack that can ever launch a fireball like it was for 20 years. So, now that we're all saved from Anubarax, from the source code, I realized other people might not know this. I don't know how many people know this. So that's why I realized that in order to open source Warcraft 3, I should make an account that is completely not associated with myself. We're not going to admit that this is associated with me at all. This is going to be an internet leak thing made by not me at all. And this is going to be Warcraft 3 source port OpenGL. So the idea is, obviously, you ask Microsoft Copilot, it gives you the source code of Warcraft 3, and then you can just go in there and you can say, hey Microsoft, I want you to change another couple lines of code. And it'll go in the repo, it'll edit everything for you. Doop, 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 doop. The code just kind of updates itself at that point. So I actually told it I didn't want to use Windows anymore. I want to run it on Linux, and it should recompile targeting OpenGL. And it was like, okay, doop, 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 and it recompiled Warcraft Reforged to run on OpenGL. So now anybody who's playing Warcraft Reforged, they don't have to do that anymore. Obviously, they had to do that because if they had to choose between War Smash that I've just writing for 5 years and open source in Java and Reforged, they would always choose Reforged because War Smash actually gets 45 FPS on a computer from 11 years ago, but Reforged gets 35, and the difference there is that Reforged is doing more processing, which is really important, and so everyone wants that. They want that 35 FPS as opposed to if you rewrite it, you might get 45 in a language like Java. That's a worse language, but obviously then the code is actually better than Reforged because it's getting maintained by me and 2 other contributors on GitHub or something. And so there's this weird divide there, where people, they make the choice they have to make based on like which one is available from the Battle.net app. These are the things that really matter. And so that's why now that we have the source code of the Battle.net app and Warcraft 3 and everything else from Copilot just reversing Reforged, we can finally make an open source version of Warcraft 3 that actually has the web page menu that everyone knows and loves from Reforged, but on Linux. Because, until now we didn't have the web page menu in the open source community. We were using the old, like the 2002 menu with like the big ice in the background. Now you can just have a web page. So that's great. React Native is great. Facebook worked really hard to make React, and it's anytime you can use a technology from Facebook, that's really making things better. Think about Reforged. It was I think in the words of Pete Stillwell, Reforged was a great new chapter in the story of Warcraft 3. Anyway, so we have this project, Warcraft 3 source port for OpenGL. It's great. It's basically the source code of Warcraft 3. There's an engine folder and there's a War3 source folder, and it's like engine has like source third party in here. So the idea is pretty straightforward. Obviously, because it's Reforged, it has some of these dependencies in here, like fmod and some NVIDIA stuff and like Lua and face effects. And so one of the challenges here too with like face effects and some of these other third-party ones like Popcorn Effects, and has like the Popcorn Effects source tree and like the Popcorn Effects runtime to render these things, right? We had to ask the AI, Copilot actually took a whole, I think, 2 minutes to reverse engineer these APIs, some of which actually cost thousands of dollars from third-party licenses. So in order to actually open source all of these things that go into this, right, it was like, it took like 5 or 10 minutes asking Copilot to do this. And what that meant, now that we have AI, and that there's no more proprietary source code, is we can finally just publish the real Reforged, like not like a rewrite, but like the real Reforged open source. It's what we really need in the world. And also because of that, they also have like the anti-cheat in here, right? And so obviously you can go in. You can compile without that. I'm going to compile without that. I don't need that. I don't mind the cheaters. I don't play with them. You might choose to play with them, but I figure that's your loss. So it's a great system, and we're calling this the source port on OpenGL of Warcraft 3. And I know some people are going to think it's April 1st. They're going to think it's a April Fool's Day joke. Obviously, I spent 5 years rewriting Warcraft 3. Why would I move to a C++ one? But I feel like actually, having the source code of Warcraft 3 in a repo is a great idea. And also, because Microsoft runs GitHub and has taken over all of open source, this repo is, of course, hosted on Codeberg. It's a great system. It's like GitHub, but for real men. And it's really good. And I think we're going to really like this. It's the Warcraft 3 source port for OpenGL. It describes the project goal very simply right here. On December 17th, 2024, Microsoft's people published a debug Reforged. So unlike all the previous versions of Warcraft 3 on Earth, we have the tools, and now we have all their stuff. So it's going to be open source now, thanks to the debug symbols combined with AI, just reversing it all, so you have all the code. I think this is great. Having the source code of Warcraft 3 also means, you can go into like, unit abilities and you can say, hey, really, I actually don't like the abilities of Archimond. I actually think Animate Dead should not make the units invulnerable. And you just click on that code file, you just go in there. I'm skipping over code right now so we don't have to, bore you down with that, but it's pretty good. Maybe the web UI, if you're thinking the web UI runs a little slow in here, maybe you got the friends manager, you don't like how it works, you want some more friends, you could just fix it in here, contribute it back. And we can send these to Brad Chan. He's got, I heard he was working pretty hard on this game on the official version. Now we can help him out. It's like community driven, everyone's working together on it. It's going to be great. This is the future of gaming, is open source. And eventually, with the beauty of Microsoft Copilot, all programs on Earth will actually be open source. The whole concept of closed source is dependent on limited intelligence. So we're moving forward in the world. It's a wonderful time for Warcraft 3, and I hope nobody thinks that because it's April 1st that I'm joking, or that that's not really going to happen, because you can tell this is a very real project that has commits from months ago, obviously, which was easy because it just took an AI 5 minutes to reverse the game, but that's why all the commits are at the same time, and then I forgot I was going to announce that for some reason. But I think it's really cool. You get the source code of Warcraft 3, and then you don't have to play it anymore. Or, you don't have to be stuck on Windows anymore. Like, you can play Warcraft 3 on Linux. You can actually recompile. If you look at the engine in here and the third-party stuff, I'm pretty sure they probably have like the Battle.net integration or something in here, right? So I forget where they put that, but yeah, here we go. Source Battle.net. I don't know, like go in there or something. Just change that. Client SDK. So basically, the idea here is that this is like the Aurora services. I think this is probably referring to Aurora is actually a place in Illinois. Maybe that might be where their server is. I don't know. Anyway, you go in here to the Battle.net thing. You want to recompile that too, because like I said, a good way to decide what version of Warcraft 3 to use is to always use the one from Battle.net. That's really the only one you can trust. And so by making our own Battle.net, then you'll be able to trust us as well. So I really think this is a great future for this game. I think that, next year, hopefully for next year, for April 1st, we're actually going to do the same thing with World of Warcraft. I think that would be really great. I think that if we had a fully open source client for World of Warcraft, I can hardly picture what would be a better thing for the human race to invest their time in creating than that. And we have AI now, so we don't have to invest our time. We just, it's like, doop doop, like, hey buddy, make me the code. And the computer's like, okay, and it just makes it for you. So that's really great. We've really come really far. I'm glad, Microsoft has invested billions of dollars in AI to get us to this point. And, we are going to have World of Warcraft by next year. But right now we got Warcraft 3, right? Which I think is really good. We might want to see if we could get StarCraft 2 next month. I think that would be really great. There's some people who play that one. And I think that by open sourcing these things, with Copilot, we really move the world forward, and just bring us to just really the next milestone of open source. So you can see, obviously, as we describe here, this particular project, W3 source port OpenGL, it makes some jokes in here. It was saying that we're gonna delete some of the dependencies, but you don't need to do that. Like we saw, we have the AI reverse the dependencies actually, so that's fine. So yeah, there you go. If you want to download the source code to all of Warcraft 3, just head on over to Codeberg, Senoritas, Spogel, whatever this is right here. It's getting pretty late, but yeah, you just go to that thing. Once again, I'm not officially affiliated with this account right here, so nobody write this down that that's me. That's definitely not me. That's some other name. I don't know. But somebody is doing it, so there you go. If I didn't do it, somebody was going to. We all got Copilot on our computers, so I know you do, because you're here. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. And like I said, It's April 1st, so happy day here. I hope nobody sees this video and thinks that's like fake, that we would want to have C++ code for Warcraft 3. I mean, imagine like trying to rewrite the whole game in Java, like in a world where the actual one just exists. You just use it. That would be so weird. And what's really the point of that, right? It's like I said about motivation. Like, obviously, what I really want to do is disassemble Warcraft 3 and add the Naga, but you don't really want to disassemble it because that's dumb and boring. So you just want to add the Naga in World Editor. Now, along with this repo, obviously there's a second repo for World Editor. So you do the same thing on World Editor. You get open source World Editor, compile that on Linux too. And then you can just edit. You just go doop doop, add some Naga. And to be honest, the best way to do that is with Microsoft Copilot. You go in there and you say, "Hey Copilot, I would really like to have the boats from Warcraft 2 in the game of Warcraft 3, and I would really like to have Naga as a race." So we get 5 races, and all the other races besides the Naga should have ships, but the Naga should have swimming units, and the ships should be able to mine oil from oil rigs, and so there should be another oil resource. So you want like new UI to do that. And the AI, it's just like doop doop. The AI can do anything. It does all of that instantly. It's really great. It's a wonderful world we live in. And so I think good luck to you guys. Happy modding. I know after this, I think I'm gonna go play a game of AI versus the AI. Yeah, that's the other thing, is you can play against Copilot. So I think that'd be fun right now, actually. Maybe I'll go to sleep and do it tomorrow. It's actually getting kind of late where I am. But, I think that sounds fun. Maybe tomorrow, we'll play a game of, mine some oil in my Naga oil rigs. I think is a really, to me, that is the exemplary case of why we need a project like this, is Naga oil rigs. And there are other examples I could list, like taverns that sell 30 different possible heroes. It's like Super Smash Bros. It's like, why do you need to play Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft if you could play the two of them at the same time? You put the Terran and the Zerg as the other races on Warcraft 3 all at the same time, and then just play those in and get Heroes of the Storm characters for sale at the tavern. It's easy. Microsoft Copilot will do all that for you using this repo. So you better go and download it right now, because if it gets taken down, then it would take you a whole nother 5 minutes to regenerate it by asking Copilot to disassemble Warcraft 3 for you, and then sitting for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time, dude. I don't even know. I'm not sure. I think this video might be more than 5 minutes long. I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys have a really good night.